Hello, I am Marie Louise from Lovely Evolution, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to add clickable links to your Canva document. So this is particularly good to use for presentations, for brochures, what else? Reports, things like that will be really useful. So, and also workbooks as well. Anything where you have lots of pages and you want to create some interaction, being able to click between or navigate between the pages using this clickable links feature. But also, if you want to be able to add links and buttons to external websites, for example, like a call to action for someone to book your services or head to a particular page on your website and things like that. So with clickable links, as I've mentioned in a previous post, they're not really going to work on something like a social media post because it's to do with how you have your file size, how you download it. So for example, if you download something that is a PNG file or a JPEG for use on social media, that people are not going to be able to click on it because the whole thing is fixed and flattened. Whereas if you download a PDF or if you share the file as a sort of website type thing, which I'll show you in a minute, there are ways to sort of share it as a presentation, as a link, as it were. Then those links will work. So let's have a look. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of something that I've used on my own, so you can just get a sense of how I've used it in situ. So I have this price list. So this is an example of what I have used clickable links for. So I haven't used it for creating links backwards and forwards within the same document, but I have done it to create links to other websites, so booking links and the like. So if I just zoom in a little bit, so I've got some examples of work. And on here, this is where I've got the clickable link. So I've got a pay button and a booking link so someone can book in time with me in the calendar. And so I've done the same thing for those. And I've picked icons like these buttons to make it really obvious that hopefully people realize that you can click on it and actually there is an action to be done. Something also to note, if we just zoom in a little bit here, so can you see how the text has got some underline here? So that's telling you that the text is also got this clickable link on it. So I've kind of doubled up. So here we've got the link icon there. So if I click on that, there is a link to a Stripe page where people can then pay. And I've done the same thing. If we click on the text box, there's exactly the same thing. And I've just done it so that there's a little bit more room to click. And what I found was when I only had that button as the clickable link, for some reason, even when you hovered over the text pay, it wasn't clicking through properly. And it was almost like the word pay, that text box, when it had no clickable link on it, overwrote what was underneath. It was a sort of layering thing. So I have doubled up, and that's, I guess I could have just chosen not to bother doing a clickable link on there, but I've kind of done both so that if anyone clicks in that general area, I've covered my bases. Now, I talked about how this might work in the kind of online forum. So you can just simply download this as a PDF, which I have done. It's something that I email over to clients or potential clients. And, it's something that people can have for reference, but they can still click through to the relevant pages. Now, if you didn't want to send it as a PDF and you want someone to have a link to be able to view it, what you can do is click this website, and then it gives you the option to have it in a presentation mode. It can mean that you can kind of scroll through classic navigation single page. So you can view it like that, or you can do it as using the share. So you could You wouldn't want share link to edit, but you could do share link to view, and that will do the same thing. It will create a kind of URL unique to this document. And I will show how that works in just a moment. Now, just thinking for the purpose of being able to show you in the kind of website context, what I better do is actually access good old Canva in my web browser rather than in the desktop app. So then I'm not having to unshare and share. So bear with, viewers. So we've got Nigel has joined, Wendy. So thank you. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and share my Google screen, my Googly. So this will mean that I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's go over here and I will show you the kind of preview thing. And then what I'll do is head over to just a sort of one of the other templates, and we can look at there. So the easiest thing, I suppose, in a way, is to have it as a share link to view, copy link, and then if I pop that into another web page or tab, so you can see that now has, it's just in a presentation type mode. So we can click through, and so now if I click on the pay, it will pop up another window, and you can see that's now got that pay point, that pay page, and it works the same with my Calendly link for that. So that's how that one works. Let me show you how to do it with the website view. So you do the presentation mode, which is just, it looks exactly the same pretty much as, I think it looks the same. Yeah, so it's the same option as I just showed you. It's just two ways of accessing it. You might want to do it as a scrolling kind of page. So again, it will pop up in another page. So this link here, you could then share with someone that you wanted to present sort of work that you do, services that you do. So you're kind of creating like a digital flyer, I guess. You can even make the argument that you could create a full website. I would sort of be careful about that because it's not very responsive. So, for example, what that means is being able to, how it looks on like a desktop, like your laptop, versus on mobile. So I wouldn't recommend using this to create a full-on website, but it does mean that you can make it look a bit snazzier when you're presenting some information. So yes, you can share that. So this is the scrolling view. So what it does is as you scroll down, the next page pops up, and then the following page, and so on and so forth. And it will just pick up whatever is the sort of predominant, the background color there. So if we click here, let's just check, does it still work? Yes. So there are some other options. Let me just show you one more website view. So you've got a navigation one. There's a couple of options. So it just sees each page as an actual page, as like a website. So if we go to the menu bar, you'll see all those pages. So you would want to make sure that your page numbers are numbered named. So we can go over to click on there, and that takes us back to that. And again, if we clicked on that, that would allow you to go through. So let's close those down and just show you here. Okay. So in this case, what it's done is I thought it was the page itself, but what it's done is it's been very helpful and picked up on the page title that's there at the top. But you can do it by making sure that the page name there kind of corresponds. So that's something to keep in mind if you're like, why is it not showing? But I would say for most cases, just go with the present mode. It just keeps it simple, but it's personal choice. So let's go over here and see sort of another example. So this is what I showed you as a more landscape format. So you could do a presentation and create clickable links. But let's look at, say you want to do a some sort of workbook, for example, and you want it to have clickable links, you know, maybe have like a content page. So you're using the clickable links function to navigate around the document. And you could still have some external links, like I've just shown you, but let's look at the kind of the linking pages within that. So I'm just going to click on report and see what comes up. I'm going to click on that one. It doesn't really matter. Hopefully there's enough pages. And they're already applied in there. So you could create a contents page. So let's duplicate this page and we'll call that the contents. And then you could have some page numbers that we could put in here. So let's ungroup that. So you could put a section name and then page 1, for example. Or you could have that as the page number. So make that, let's zoom in a little bit. So that could be mission and then put that as page 1. And hot vision there. That could be page 2. And you might want to include that in as a sort of subheader. And that could be page 3. And you could do, you know, subheads and things like that. Or you could visually do it slightly differently. You know, you could have it that you, let's move these over and have it like that. So you could have the word page there or just have the number if you wanted to. So there's lots of different ways of styling it up. And if you're not sure how to style it up, let's see if Canva's got some templates for contents. So let's go to the, come on, content page. See what comes up out of interest. And there we have it. We've got a few examples here. So you could use some of these as a basis. So for example, this one is pretty simple, this green one here. So if I click on that, and then what I could do is just copy and paste that over into this template here. So if I just add it in, maybe make the text one of the colors there, and I would style it up as well. So you would want to make sure that it matches the branding. So you copy that over, for example. So you don't need to start from scratch, you know, when it comes to it. You know, if you have a specific thing or need, you know, why not have a look and see what comes up in the you know, when you're sort of looking at the you know, just searching for it. My brain's going now. It's like right, so what you want to do is look at some of the pages. So this particular example doesn't have pages on it, which is a bit annoying because some templates do. Let's go back to, actually, no, we'll access it from, get rid of that. So if you go to templates, you can also look at templates from within. So what's quite good is if you kind of hover over it, sometimes you can kind of get a bit of a thumbnail and view. So we've got that one that got some page numbers. It's hard to tell, but it's pretty easy to just add a number. So let's just do that. Add a number. I think I can do it. We got a number there. Woo. So you would decide what pages, you know, where do you want your number to go. So for example, maybe you want it to always appear there. And you know, you would decide that, say, contents is page 1, and that's because you're going to have the issue in a way that might be a bit confusing. So if we go into grid view that you can access at the bottom, so what you'll find is that the cover is page 1, but you might want to order it that that's the cover, so the content is going to be your page 1. So if I get rid of those, and we'll have contents, page 1, and then we could have about, and that will be page 2. At a glance, it says page 3, and let's call that page 4, and then you've got page 5, which I can't view for some reason. I can't access the bit at the bottom. Never mind. So in terms of starting to make these clickable links, what you want to do is on the number. So this is where we have a bit of an issue with the contents page, that you don't want to have it that all of that is in the same block, because you're going to be wanting to have a text box for each page number. So if I grab that one over and then put that there and have it up there, move that in, and we'll copy it to page 3, page 4, page 5. So you would then, make sure that that text would line up, across across there. So let's say that we want to have, so you wouldn't have contents listed on there because that's a contents page. So let's say we want to click, and we're going to make that about page, which will be page 2. We're going to make that a clickable link. So what we do is click on the number and we go to the link. So now you can see this is quite a recent feature. I'm not quite sure where it when they announced it, but it was certainly in the recent newsletter, hence why I did a post about it earlier this week. But I did spot it, I think, last week when I was doing something in writing my book, my book about Canva, and I was doing a bit about the link tool, and I was like, oh, you can link to pages. That's interesting. Didn't know you could do that. So I think it's quite new. So we want to be linking to page 2, which is technically page 3. So we'll click there, and the action is to go to the page. So it's giving you a bit of a preview there. Now, something you might want to do, and it's something that I've done in the past when I used to do interactive PDFs for annual reports and things like that, was you want to be able to also be able to skip back to the contents page. So you might want to have another box here, and maybe let's align it to that side. Let's make that a little bit smaller so they're not overlapping and possibly interfering. So let's call that contents page. And you can style that up however you want. So we're going to now link that back to the contents page. So we'll do the same thing again. We've clicked the element, that box with the text, and I'm going to go over here, and I've named it, so that's helped myself. And we'll click there and click go to page. So you can see here, if I zoom in, like I said in the previous example, that it's going to give you this extra space there. It's going to give you this underline to say that it's an active link, and that only happens on text items. On objects, you don't really see any difference. There's nothing that indicates that it's like a clickable link. It doesn't hover, sometimes on buttons on websites, there's a sort of like you hover over it and it interacts in some way. Canva's not that clever at this moment in time. So if we were, so you would maybe download this. I guess with something like a report like this, you're more likely to want to have it downloaded. It's a PDF, but you can still do the whole share it, make sure it's to view. We'll do copy link, and then let's pop it over here and see how it looks like. So you can see it has it just looks like a presentation, just like the other one, but it's a portrait format. So if we click through and click on page that number 2, it takes us to number 2. But we've also allowed to go back to the contents page. And so if we did the whole thing, clicking through, you would be able to sort of make sure that the whole thing works, clicking to other bits. And you could have a final page. I don't know what's on this one. So you could have like a back cover with some sort of call to action or a website link and make that a clickable link. And you could use a button tool if we go back to here. So let's duplicate this one and make a bit of a back page. And we'll move that over there, so it's the last one. And let's fit to page. So you could put, website address here. So you could have your URL there, or just come and visit the website, more information. So that could actually have your address. So I'll put in my address, my website address, and make it a clickable link. Where's it gone? So let's zoom in. Now, something else to note is that if you were downloading this as a PDF and you've got it viewing like this with the HTTPS and all the forward slashes there, you wouldn't need to make it a clickable link. But if you felt that it kind of didn't look very nice, let's see what happens in the presentation mode. If we get rid of that, so we can just refresh it. Get rid of that. So let's do. I can't remember what happens if you whether you can do the clickable link without clicking on it. Certainly on a PDF, definitely as you download it, when you've got any URL, and that can be within text as well. So that's where that's quite handy for PDFs. So let's make that a clickable link. We're going to put it into. Copy and paste that over, and then just click enter. So we can see there that is now a clickable link like that. You could also, if you wanted to, just remove the www dot as well, and just to make it look snazzier if you wanted to. So we can make that a bit bigger if you wanted to. So let's again preview that. So let's copy link. And so then you could share that link with anyone. So if we go and just flick through, let's go to the final page. So can you see that nothing happens when you click on where we haven't added that clickable link in there? It would work in a PDF. There's no point me showing you that. It's not really very exciting, but just trust me that it does work in a PDF. But when we click on the one that we made an active link using Canva's tools, it's now opened up and worked. But if you think of any questions sort of after you've mulled it over, or you've decided to give it a go and you're coming up with any problems, feel free to comment, particularly onto this particular video. or you can post a general question into the Lovely Canva Crew Facebook group, and I will try and jump on that and answer best as I can. Please make sure you tag me, because otherwise I may not see it. I mean, I do try and keep on top of any questions and interactions, but I'm only human and Facebook can be quite noisy. Feel free to invite people to the group. And if you love training like this and you want to get some more design feedback and really grow your design eye, why not consider joining my Lovely Canva Circle? I recently had a promotion on it, but it's still lots of great value. There's like over £1,000 worth of goodness in there for only £350. So I'm really so passionate about what I'm delivering within it, with the mix of trainings that I've done in the past that I've collated, and there's a sort of a logical, to me anyway, order that they are in sequence, or you can jump between all of them, as well as a support session. So I'd love to see you there if that's a good fit, or feel free to book a call if you want to know more and see whether it's for you. In the meantime, have a great rest of the day. The sun is